So, agreement. Kev needs to do something about the level of hostility. Football must just be football.
Football must just be
Equal living,
football,
equal playing fields, right?
Yeah. And Sean Butler should not complain about going to Venda, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Super Sub does not like the idea of, I didn't even have a name for it, the league. It's the DSTV Premiership.
MLS Light. Alright, guys.
League.
Let's be serious here, man. What is that?
Make some noise right now! Enter! Podcast and Chill Network in association with Grandior presents the Road to 1 Million Subscribers event on the 30th of July 2023 at SUNBET AREANA in Pretoria. Lineup includes Kaiser Chiefs, MacG, Musa Keys, Mpop Pops, Celestine Dooley, Eugene Koza, and Robert Boy. This fun-filled event will include comedy, music performances, as well as a live audience conversation with MacG, Sorpen Duka, and the Ghost Lady. Tickets are now available on Cricket from 295 rands. Doors open at 6 p.m. Food and drinks sold at the venue. Come and join a milestone celebration of Black excellence with Podcast and Chill Network.
Do you still remember how the mic works?
Sort of.
Because
Capetanians.
7 days can be a long time, eh? You know? But anyway, you're back. Welcome back. Welcome back to ONSIDE. Yes. Back like we never left. And Marco is here. Welcome back, Marco.
Thank you.
And Mzwara, a.k.a. Super Sub, is here. Welcome back, Mzwara, a.k.a. Super Sub.
Thank you.
And the ballers are here. Man, we missed you. 7 days is a long time. It's a long time. Maybe in future we'll have maybe 2 or 3 episodes a week, ne?
Yeah, no.
You're the only one who's been here every episode.
100% attendance.
100% attendance. You're like one of those, you're like a Harry Maguire. Like you're always in training.
Have you seen Pep off work?
True. Okay, no, I'll leave it there. Gentlemen, welcome to the show once again. So you know what I was thinking about this weekend, right? Because we know it's transfer window, it's off-season. Some teams have started their pre-season. Some players have been seen in certain training camps and people are not happy. I'm not
Including
looking
me.
at you.
Who should I be unhappy about?
Well, we'll get to that. So, you play FPL. Fantasy football.
No, not anymore. You know why? I feel like I know a lot and then I get really upset when I don't do well in FPL. And then guys who don't know ball just follow like an FPL show, what, and they get points. And I'm like...
So what was your initial strategy when you started playing FPL?
Choose the best players, the players who I think are best. And then meanwhile, I was getting done by players who were doing a 4-4-2 strategy and putting fullbacks in centre-back positions to get more points. That's one of the FPL strategies.
Yeah,
So you get more points from defenders.
Yeah, because if it's a clean sheet, it's like what, 6 points, 7 points?
No, holding midfielders, the whole midfield is attacking players, you know, and you'll use like Theo Walcott playing at Southampton. He'll be your centre mid. So it's like this nonsensical team, but you're just putting together 11 players for score. But if you put those 11 players on a pitch to play a game, they get hammered every game.
So for you, Super Sub,
That's why I don't like FPL.
what was your approach? Were you choosing your team as if you are Pep and you're about to go into a cup final?
No, I'm very competitive. So for me, I needed to get more points. So like defenders, I'll look at teams that have like that concede less goals. Because I know I'll get like your 7 points there. You know, at the back, if you get like 21 points, it's a good match day. In the middle, you need midfielders that can score.
Okay.
You know, and then strikers, you need somebody like a Haaland that will give you goals game in, game out, and you captain them.
But he costs.
That's the thing. So budget-wise, Marco,
I save on midfielders I don't go for like expensive midfielders. You know, and
It's a
then
good place to save.
and then forwards. That's where I spend my money on those 3 forwards.
And captain.
The interesting thing about forwards is if you look at this past season, you didn't really have a lot to pick from. Actually,
Harry Kane.
Tony was a very good.
he was banned up.
Look, but in the beginning, he was really, really good. He was giving us points, if you remember.
Yeah, no, in the beginning.
At low value.
Yeah, I think it was about a 7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, I think it was more than that.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think it was about 8.5.
So you've got, they give you 100 mil, argument's sake. Usually how I would do it is, do you buy from the back going forward or do you buy from the middle going forward, then going back? Like, what like the science?
You buy as many City players as you can afford and then fill in the rest with whoever.
But with the City players, the thing that I know me and Super Sub used to get frustrated about weekend in, weekend out, is that you never knew which starting 11
The
Pep was
rotation.
gonna put out.
Yeah, Pep will mess you up when it comes to fantasy league. Yeah. Even there are games where like Haaland was not even there, you know. But
He's your captain.
and he's your
expecting
captain,
goals.
you know, he's scoring goals. You know that you're gonna have a bad day if your captain it does not make match day, you know.
I think that probably a good strategy will be you go with a goalkeeper who's at a team that's not going to concede a lot of goals. It's a shame Stoke City aren't in the Premier League anymore because that's points for free.
Yeah.
They would get just clean sheets. They wouldn't score many goals, but you just choose a backline from Stoke cheap and you get points every week. You know? I had Asmir Begovic as a goalkeeper my entire Premier League FPL career.
Oh, okay.
And he scored lots of points because didn't concede a lot of goals when he was at Stoke.
Oh, this was before he went to Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken.
before
right?
then.
Yes. Oh, okay, cool.
And David De Gea did well as well, as a fantasy keeper.
At some point, because of the number of saves he pulled.
And clean sheets, Remember, clean
And man
sheets
of the
also
match
count.
and things like that.
So usually you buy from the back going forward, but I wouldn't
is
do
going
that.
to kill you, though,
Yeah,
is it not?
what I do first, like I go for my forwards first because I know that's where the chunk of money goes, and then thereafter I work it backwards, like from front, mid, and then defenders.
So you're like a Ferrari in front, but a Uno at the back.
Goals and assists are worth so much more than a man of the match performance.
Yes.
For example.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, it makes the most sense to blow your budget, buy the Ferraris up front, fill out the rest with the Polo, you know?
Because if you look at it, defenders are usually cheap. Defenders
Generally is.
don't.
I
Yeah,
think, but it's about top defenders. Van Dijk is about 7.
7. Yeah.
Does he contribute enough assists and goals though?
He's got a few headed goals
Yeah.
here and there.
Then-
But
yeah.
if he costs the same as a Kyle Walker, how many assists does Kyle Walker provide? And you can put him at centre back. They don't force you to put him as a wing back.
Yeah, obviously, if it's a
Do you know what
defender,
I'm
it can
saying?
be anything.
And the number of chances created or assists for Luke Shaw, lots of assists.
Or
Luke
Trent.
Shaw or Trent
Goals.
versus a Van Dijk who's probably similar price. I haven't got the FPL prices in front of me. But if you look at them, goals and assists from those players who are considered defenders, you can put them in defense. Trent's playing in midfield some games. You're scoring lots of free points there.
Yeah, true.
And what I've also picked up, sorry, Len, to cut you there. And what I also picked up from a lot of fantasy players is that they bombard the midfield. They play like a 3-5-2, so that they can have like more midfielders that can like assist or score goals, like your De Bruyne. You know, you can assist or score goals. You know, so they will line up those like your son, you know, and all of that.
So with a very thin midfield, you can have Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah,
You can have Kevin Trippier.
yeah.
You can have Luke Shaw. Those are your 3 at the back. You have Kane and Haaland in front.
Kane and Haaland in front. Yeah.
And then you just fill the middle with like all the 4.5s.
Yeah, James Maddison's. Because James Maddison going to get you points.
Yeah.
Now that he's moved to Spurs,
Yeah.
he's going to get you some points.
Barnes.
Harvey Barnes, if he goes to Newcastle, I think so.
Son is expensive.
Son
is expensive. Yeah.
He'd be a great one because he brings you performances.
Odegaard was very
regularly.
budget. I think it was about 8.
Yeah, Odegaard was not
Anymore,
bad.
though, hey?
No.
After the season.
Yeah,
he
no,
had.
after the season he had, I think he's probably
He's
going to
gonna
be
have
at
a
like
big
9
price.
or 10.
But you know, it was a good budget if you had him. It was Gundogan.
in the latter part of the season.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, true.
he was a good
What about
budget.
players from teams that are going to perform? Where like Brentford is going to be cheap, but you know Brentford are going to bring performances just to fill in at the very low price so that you can go big on a Haaland or something. Someone who's going to really get you points.
So it's obviously 11, and how many do you have on the bench? Is it 5? No, it's 4?
Yeah,
it's
I think
keeper.
it's a
and
keeper.
3 other players.
Yes.
Right? So I think in that split of 11-4, make it, so essentially it's 15 players. So make it, I think, I could be wrong, ballers who are enthusiasts when it comes to fantasy football, please let us know how your split is, because I'm just trying to pick up the brains of the guys here. Guti, how do they play fantasy football? Because me, it's defeated me for a while. And the 1 week when it's a... sorry, our guy is coming in here. I think he also plays fantasy football. But he's probably one of those who like starts the season. He starts the season and never finishes the season. Because, you know, there's also those lazy people. You start the
Then
season,
the
yay!
next, you go into their profile, they're like players that are injured, players that have got
In the
red
starting
cards.
11, yes. So I was going to say, in that 15, right, if you've got a, say, maybe a 9-6 split or a 10-5 split in terms of spend big and relatively okay on the 10 and then make the other 5 budget buys. Is that not like a good strategy?
In a way, it is. Like I always, like I said, like for me, it's like spend on your forwards. Those are the guys that are gonna give you a chunk of your points.
But what if there's not enough? Like this past season, yes, we had Ivan Toney, we had Haaland, we had Kane, but there wasn't anybody else because
We've got
all the other
Salah.
guys who ended up playing. Salah
still
was a
Salah.
midfielder.
No, it's part of forwards. Is it? No.
No,
It's
he's a
a
mid.
midfielder. It's like Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
He's a mid.
yeah, he's a mid.
Saka was a mid.
Saka is a mid.
Martinelli was a mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Salah scored a lot of points here, looking at last season's points. The top scorers were Haaland, Kane, Salah.
Yeah.
And very expensive costs of 14, 12.5, 12.5.
Imagine that.
Already
eh?
that's
Big
half your
costs.
budget
There's
with
your-
3-4 players.
Yeah. And then you look at like a Bruno Fernandes who scored quite a few points, 176 points at an 8.5 cost is quite high. But he only just scored slightly more points than the Brentford goalkeeper Raya, who scored 166 points at a cost of 5. You see, that's where you're really winning. And like I said,
That's a
about
good
Begovic
return on
for
investment.
Stoke,
Yeah.
perhaps that's the place to start, is look at a Raya or someone like that, like a Pope, who's also pretty cheap at 5.5. You don't see Newcastle going to be conceding a bunch of goals next season. Save on the goalkeeper, go for a team that's solid at the back, not going to let in a lot of goals. Save there and spend big on the forwards.
Outside, I think, of City, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of defensive record, Newcastle were probably the second best team from a defensive perspective. In terms of the number of clean sheets they kept
Well, Man United kept the most clean sheets in the season.
this past season.
This past season. That's
Remember?
why De Gea got a golden glove. But they did concede a lot of goals in the games that they conceded goals.
Like 7 and others.
I don't remember that.
7 pesos.
So if that had to be implemented in South Africa, so we're looking at the Premier League model, right? Each team plays 38 games, 19 home, 19 away, all right? Top goal scorer averages between 25 to over 30. When last did we have a goal scorer in our local league who went over 20 goals a season?
Yeah.
Fewer games.
No, in this, well, it's 20.
Relatively in fewer games.
Relatively in fewer games, yes, you're right.
Yeah, I think that was Collins Mbesuma. That's the last time we had a player that went over 20 goals. Oh, Knowledge Musona. Between Knowledge Musona and Mbesuma, I can't remember. Between the two.
Statistically, how many goals per game are there in the Premier League versus every other league in the world? Is the Premier League one of the highest scoring leagues?
Very
per
low
game?
scoring league.
The Premier League, the English Premier League, or the DStv Premiership?
DStv Premiership is a low scoring league. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hardly get like your 4-0s or your 4-1s. You know what I mean? So it's like 2-1, 1-0 then there, you know. But you hardly get like high score.
Because from this past season, if we look at the local league, how many... Didn't Sundowns give Maritzburg like a 7, or was it the season before that?
Maritzburg
Or a
7.
6?
Yeah, I can't remember.
There's somebody that they gave a 6 to. Chiefs, when they played against them at Loftus,
Wasn't it a 4?
the Shalulile, I think he scored a brace.
Yeah, I think it was 4-1 or something. But we can check that one.
Yeah, but the local league hardly has a lot of goals. So would that be the primary reason why something like a fantasy league would not work for our local league?
Do you think it won't work?
I'm asking because in fantasy, the one thing that gives you a whole lot of points,
Yeah.
it's goals.
Yeah, it was actually 4-0, eh?
The Chiefs Sundowns game at
Yeah,
Loftus.
yeah,
Yes.
Sundowns won 4-0, yeah.
So, I mean, there's no reason why a fantasy league won't work locally. It's about interest. How many people are going to be interested in participating in a fantasy league?
Yeah.
Depending on what prizes can you win, who's going to host the fantasy league, is the league going to do it, are you going to do it through a DStv Premiership website, who's going to facilitate that, who's going to use this, who's going to present the statistics,
The algorithms.
where do you even find statistics after a game in the DStv Premiership?
They do keep scores. I don't mean like the 1-2. I mean like,
Passes completed by each
yes,
player.
they do keep
But who
them.
keeps it where?
It's out there.
There's a couple of portals that do. I know from the Google algorithms, they do give you those stats as the game is going live. Ball percentage, tackles made, red cards, yellow cards.
But those are standards for football. Those are like standard match day stats. I think Marco is talking about the breakdown of players. You know,
But
this
these
player
stats
had like those kind of stats, you know.
You need every stat for every player to be able to score them and give them a score at the end of the game, right? You go to Sky Sports website, you see player ratings at the end of a game, and it's this guy scored a 7, this guy scored a 6.5 based on a computer algorithm that put all of their stats in. And, balls lost, possession lost leading to a goal scoring opportunity, things like that, drops your score. So all of those stats need to come in play for a fantasy league to be accurate, to be able to score it like this.
So I think in the context of the league itself, most of the teams, if not all the teams, have the Catalyst Fest, right? Yes. So there's obviously certain things that you will get from a Catalyst Vest, not everything that you need.
What is
do
that?
they
The
have to
GPS vest.
Huh?
Yeah.
The GPS vest.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you have to give those stats over to the league currently? Or do you use it yourself just for your own stats?
And
then
also
you keep your
locally,
stats
are
to
all the
yourself?
teams wearing those vests because they don't come cheap?
I don't think you would be in the Premiership and you don't have those GPS monitors.
Yeah.
It would be very weird. So I think also on that point, I think the broadcaster, if I'm not mistaken, also has somewhere where they keep that information. Because, I mean, when you're watching a game, you'll hear somebody saying, oh, no, this person in the past 5 games, they've been substituted on so many times and they've scored so many goals and they did so many assists, da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I do understand the Premier League one. The model is a little bit complex, but it's the information that's there that we can use to perhaps start ours. Or maybe ours can just be about goals and assists and how many corners you get. And
I think you need to be taken seriously. And I think for the league to actually be taken seriously, both by people domestically and internationally, I think a fantasy league could actually help get more attention, more interest in people watching games. So it could actually benefit the league and get more interest generated in the league. But for people to take it seriously, you need to be on par with the English Premier League's fantasy league. in terms of using statistics and stuff. And it's not that difficult. There's lots of technology to help us with this. Surely the costs aren't that high. And I'm sure someone will be prepared to get behind it. So, hey, speak to us. I don't know. Maybe we should get involved.
Yeah, my question is, how will you entice people, like to join, because it's very, very difficult to...
Someone can have incentive.
Who enticed you to join FPL?
Well, the FPL is well marketed. And I enjoyed the Premier League.
But there are also prizes for people who win.
There's also prizes to win. You can win a trip to watch
7 nights
games in England,
of 2
VIP and all of those.
Yeah, you can win a ticket to watch the derby.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be something for the people,
That's incentive.
Yeah, that's incentive.
VIP experience at the derby?
Yeah.
In a box?
Yes.
That's dope.
But here's a curveball.
Yeah.
How many other leagues around the world actually have fantasy football?
I don't know. I'd assume many.
I think it's only, football-wise, good question. Because I think in America is the, what you call... it's the
NHL, NFL.
NFL. It's got fantasy. They're the first one.
They are the first ones to actually come up.
La Liga does have, doesn't it?
Huh?
La Liga.
I'm sure they do.
Not to my knowledge. If they do have, it's not very well marketed.
Is it? And I saw something last season. I stand to be corrected. I think there is a Champions League fantasy league.
Oh no, yes, Champions League does have. I do play that every season as well.
I haven't played that one.
A tad bit complicated. But yes, Champions League also has fantasy. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, look, I think...
There's a fantasy league in Brazil as well.
Okay, you see.
Saudis, are you listening?
Yeah, no, they're going to be
Saudis,
coming very hard. They're going to go take all the IT guys there by Premier League. Come here.
But would you play a local, a DSTV Premiership fantasy league?
I think so, and I think because I'm one person that quite enjoy our local football, so I think it's also gonna help me, to broaden, because like fantasy league helps you watch like games that you wouldn't imagine that you could watch. You know what I mean?
You're there on your phone, like, hey, come on.
Come on, can you just put on Ivan Toney, if
Come on, Royal AM. Need you today.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, look, it's going to be very difficult, but I think I will definitely play it.
Another curveball.
Yeah.
Ne? And I'm not even going to make it very, very difficult for you. If you had blank check, 5 players, just from last season, who would you put in your league? In your team? 5
players. Look. So
let me do it like this.
Goalkeeper will have Rowan Williams.
Okay, let me make it 6. So a goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and a striker. That's
okay.
6, ne?
Okay, so goalkeeper I'll have Rowan Williams. And defender, I'll have, on top of my head, I'll have given...
you are competing now.
I'll have given Msimango. I think it's given. Yeah, it's given.
The boy from TS Galaxy.
Yeah, I'll have given Msimango. I think I'll have CBC from Orlando Pirates.
Okay. So 2 defenders and a goalkeeper gone.
Yeah, and then he said 2 midfielders.
Yes, 2 midfielders. And I forgot to throw another curveball.
No, but can I get through this?
Okay, sharp. Okay.
I can't have what? Okay, throw.
I was going to say you can't have 2 players from the same team in the 6.
I can't have 2 players from the same team from the 6.
So you've got Bronwyn, so Sundowns is done.
Yeah.
Given, so we said from last season, right?
Yeah.
So TS Galaxy is done.
Yeah.
CBC, Orlando Pirates is done. Let's go.
I think Matt had a good season.
Yusuf?
Yeah, Yusuf might had a good season. I'll chuck him in there.
That's your first midfielder. Chiefs gone. Well, they've been.
Don't do that.
What did I do? Wait, never mind.
I'm trying to think. Who had a good season, a midfielder? I'm trying to think, like a good midfielder that had a good season.
Your first problem was going goalkeeper from Sundowns from the onset.
There's a problem.
It's a bit of a trick. Because it's going to be interesting to find out who's going to be your pick of a striker.
Yeah, because the problem is now, it's difficult because, I can just throw in any player there. But, because Sundowns had like good players.
No, fair enough.
You know, like they had a good season, they had like a good run, you know, and I'm trying to think.
I can help you with a striker.
As a Buccaneer.
Ranga.
I was that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
look.
from last season, yes, because now he's at Chiefs.
Yeah, Ranga's, look.
Hey, man, 11 no, 9. 9 or 10.
New signings.
Ranga. No. I'm saying the amount of goals he had last season. And by the standards of the DStv Premiership,
10 is a lot of goals.
yes, and also given the amount of games we play, we must also not be cognizant of that.
Where is it? 30?
So how
Yes,
many am I
50.
left with now?
It's
Hey,
8
what-
games less than a Premier League season.
8 games
8 games is a lot.
They can score 8 goals in 8 games and move from 10 to 18 goals a season. Maybe a brace or 2 in the middle there. and then they
Especially
can go
because you're introducing 4 lower level teams. Because when you got 16 teams in a league,
No, 2.
but if you have 20 teams in a league versus
Yes.
16 teams in a league,
Yeah.
you're introducing 4 new teams, right? To have those 8 extra games.
Yes.
You're introducing 4 teams that would have to come from lower league football, essentially. So the competition in the number of games is also higher. You don't have as many easy games. So even though 30 games and 38 games sounds very similar, it's less similar than you'd think because you're playing against harder opposition, more opposition around your level versus in the leagues that have 20 teams in a league. Then you've got sort of a higher volume of lower level opposition that are just trying to survive, for example. And you have a few easier games, especially as the bigger sides, who are the ones who are going to have a striker who can score 20 goals. So it's more difficult when the level of teams is higher, let alone the volume of teams being.
But also taking into consideration, right? With the DStv Premiership, what happens is you won't necessarily get 2 new teams from a lower tier division. It's only 1. 1 is guaranteed.
Yes, I understand. But what I'm saying is,
One
say
can be a
next
survivor.
season we decided to make DStv Premiership 20 sides. 3 go down every season, 3 come up every season because there's 20 sides. If we decided to do that for a DStv Premiership, I understand costs involved, things like that, so it won't happen. But if you decided to do that, would you be playing against 15 teams of the same level, or would you be playing against 19 teams of the same level of the 15 teams you played against last season? No, you'd be introducing 4 new sides that would be easier in general overall than the 15 sides that you were playing against in the previous season. So therefore also translating into more goals, especially for the guys around the top of the table. They'll have games that they can get active in or get at opposition.
But is it not worth more money? Or rather, does it not give more money? But I suppose then that means the sponsors would have to give more money. The broadcasters would have to broadcast more games. So that's adding, 8 more games into a season, which...
It's also more difficult to find enough clubs to compete at that level financially. You have to find another 4 teams who can afford to be playing in the DStv Premiership.
Yeah, now a lot of
How many
factors come to
teams-
play if you think about it. And because now, let's say for instance, now DStv as a sponsor, they have to cough out more,
Yes, because there's now 20 teams, not 16 anymore.
you know, and also
the cost
traveling for the teams, it means now over and above, like coughing out more for those 2 teams, which means now the stipend needs to increase because now there's also a lot of traveling that has to happen.
So it's 8 more fixtures for every team.
Yes.
So you've got another 8 fixtures for every team would translate to another 80 games because you would take 10 teams because there's a duplicate there. So it would translate, if you added 4 teams to the league, it would translate to 80 games in a season. Imagine what the cost is for one DStv Premiership game.
Then can't we just do it like the Americans do it? I know it might be boring, and I know we've spoken about how boring American football.
Oh, it is boring.
Just have a coastal stream and have an inland stream.
No, I mean,
So
South
that
Africa is too small for that. You know, that's only happening at ABC now, eh?
We're busy talking about a European Super League where you got different countries wanting to compete in a league, and now we wanna split South Africa up.
Imagine.
But I think we can, in terms of like, literally, if we had to find, can I say, is 10, let's see if we can do 10. 10 coastal and 10 inland.
Nah, man. That
And then you have playoffs.
we used to have that on NFT. Used to be structured like that. You had
coastal
and
and
inland back
yes.
in the days. But clearly, for them to merge it now to one thing, it does not work. Yes, on ABC Motsepe, just to maybe give Marco context, ABC Motsepe is the third tier, right, Marco? So it's got like 9 leagues out of South Africa. Like,
So each province has
has
its
got a
own league.
league, you know. So obviously there's not enough money, you know, to travel across, you know. So it makes sense.
This
there.
is the third division.
That's the third division.
Wasn't this Vodacom League before?
It was Vodacom League
Yes,
before.
it was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it SAB?
Now SAB is a lower one. It's called SAB. It was a castle. After Vodacom, there's Castle, which was like regional.
Oh.
So it was regional, provincial, and NFT and.
So hear me out with my coastal and inland idea.
Okay,
Hear me
cool.
out.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right? So coastal, there's Cape Town City, Cape Town Spurs. There's Maritzburg, Royal AM, Golden Arrows, Amazulu. There's a team in Cape Town that's... We can resurrect Santos.
Hey, man. Cape Town Spurs?
No, I've said them. I said them with thingy. Bapondo Chiefs or
Okay.
Bazana Chiefs. But there's a Chiefs in the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, on a lower division, yeah.
Yes. That team that got nibbled by where people were shooting each other in the playoffs.
Oh, the Northern Cape one.
Yeah, no, the one from KZN.
Umvoti. Yeah.
There's Richards Bay.
Yeah.
So we've got 10 and a bit of change.
Northern Cape is it inland or is it
No,
coastal?
it's inland. There's no coast there. There's no
Hey,
coast.
Chief, are you sure? Hey, this guy doesn't know his
think there
geography.
That's like saying Angola has no coast.
Northern Cape doesn't have a coast, guys.
Okay.
Yes.
Namibia? Does Namibia have a coast?
Namibia does not.
Hey, man. let's pull out the South African map
Guys,
for land.
This is a football podcast, okay? If you want to do geography,
Go elsewhere.
go watch Our Planet. Inland, Chiefs, Pirates, Sundown, Supersport United, Jomo Cosmos,
So you're just hoying in every team that you know that belongs.
Okay, Jomo
Black
out,
Leopards.
Polokwane City, Black Leopards, Baroka, Marumo.
Hey, this inland division sounding tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Kukune.
Kukune. Who am I forgetting?
Polokwane City.
TS Galaxy.
And then what? Super Bowl final for
No,
At
then it becomes
FNB.
like
playoffs. You got playoffs and then the Super Bowl final
Yeah,
at the
so-
end of a season.
top four.
Yeah, then they play against each
Play
other.
against each other. Boom, 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 boom. And then
Knockouts.
there's a Super Bowl final for the last two standing
At FNB Stadium.
at FNB Stadium.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like
Because-
ABC. That's what ABC Mtipe is doing anyway.
Because, I mean, you can
It'll cost less.
yes. Because you can effectively get a Chiefs versus Pirates game in that whole setup. You can get a Chiefs versus Sundowns.
Yeah.
Because if inland, it's 1 Chiefs, 2 Pirates, 3 Sundowns, 4 TS Galaxy. This is just a make-believe before Sundowns fans come for me. And that side, it's Cape Town City, Spurs, Richards Bay, and Amazulu, right? It's that one, and then 1 here plays for the 2, da. You can have all these guys ending up to go to the semifinals.
You know what? I thought at first it was a bad idea when you brought this up. But it's actually a very good way to introduce 20 teams to the top level.
Yes.
If you want 20 sides, this is the
Yeah.
best way to do it affordably.
I suppose.
And it would maybe make it exciting. But are we not alienating ourselves from world football? I mean, Major League Soccer works on this system. But their country is so huge. That's why West Coast, East Coast, makes sense.
Yeah, no, look.
But
It's not. I don't think it's needed in South Africa. We can still go with 20 teams and still make it work, I think, if sponsors are willing to put in money. Because again, to do it 10-10, and then you how are you gonna do it? Because I think ABC Muzipe, they've got the grouping of 9. Well, winners is 9, so they get like 3 groups, right?
Yes.
And then winners of the 3 groups and the best second finishers, they go to the playoffs, they go to the semifinals, right? So how do you do it in your idea, Len?
So you must have a similar thread across the board, right? So that in the coastal stream, whoever finishes 9 and 10, unlike Americans, here you draw.
Okay.
And that side, whoever finishes 1 and 2, they come up
Okay.
at the bottom. So it just becomes.
And then who's the champions of South? How do you get to have champions of South African football? Who's gonna go represent?
Super Bowl.
so the top, so what would happen is the top 4 from inland
Yeah.
and the top 4 from coastal.
Yes.
They go to the
drawn
semi.
against each other in quarterfinals.
In
'cause
quarters.
it's 8 teams.
Or 8 teams, yeah.
Then you play 2 leg fixtures, 1 at home, 1 away.
Yes.
And you play 1 inland game, 1 coastal game. Then the winner of that game will qualify to the next division.
Semi-final.
So the semifinals will always be also again you'll try your best an inland versus coastal again in that stream, but it depends on who qualifies from the quarterfinals. Then after the semifinals, the 2 winners, they will meet in the final. And then whoever wins the final single game at a major, so it's a 2-legged quarterfinal, 2-legged semifinal, home and away, and then a final game at
Yeah.
a major at the biggest stadium.
This sounds like an
there's-
exhibition league, man. We're not MLS. Nah, man. Nah, it's not gonna work, man.
There's something that he wanted to ask, and I've got an answer for you before you even ask. Who goes to Kev? The 2 finalists will play the Champions League. And then who goes to Confed Cup? The 2 losing semi-finalists will go to the Confed Cup.
Yeah,
Any
look,
questions?
you're also forgetting the other aspects to it now. Like, how now do you factor in other competitions, you know?
No, other
What's other
competitions.
competitions?
It's
Like Nedbank,
Nedbank Cup. It's
Telkom.
they are a draw.
Yeah, man. I don't like that idea.
I'm sure most of the ballers aren't going to
Ballers,
like this
are you-
idea.
Nah, that's crap, bro. Like, nah, that idea's crap,
I can
man.
see the comments already.
No, I don't like that.
It'll work. I think it's brilliant.
Nah, man.
So tell me one thing while we're on local football before we move on.
Yeah.
Kaiser Chiefs, 7 signings so far.
Good signings.
Are you impressed by all the signings?
For me, it's Mdatsane. Yeah, he's a good signing. And I mentioned Given Msimang earlier.
Yes, I was going to
he-
say Msimango as well.
Yeah, so far, I think...
Ranga, if it is true.
Yeah, because
they
I think
haven't
it's
announced
speculation,
him.
yeah.
Well, have they announced anybody actually?
They've announced 7.
Yeah,
already.
they've announced, yeah.
So those are officially announced. They were
And
standing
even
there
the
with
boy
Kappa
from
Chiefs.
Royal AM,
Yeah.
what's his name? Potane.
Yes.
He's been signed. They've announced him this week. So good signing so far, and I think Chiefs might be in for a good season.
But we spoke about how the fans don't trust the coach. But anyway,
It could surprise us all. You know,
trust the process,
at
I
the-
say.
At the end of the day, it's going to be 11 against 11. You
So
know?
do you think the AWOLing of Karma is that other I don't want to call it a cog in the machine because he hasn't really been a very crucial player for Kaiser Chiefs ever since he left Sundowns to go to Chiefs.
But first, is he AWOL? You can't say he's AWOL if his contract has ended.
Hey man, Barry, he has not come for
No, but
he didn't come for
his
Okay,
contract ended on the 29th of June.
So
the-
if
the
Marco,
prison-
sorry.
Okay.
If Marco goes to Cape Town for 3 weeks
Yeah.
and doesn't say anything, is he AWOL?
If his
If I'm
contract
not under
ended,
contract, it's
he's not AWOL.
I don't play for you anymore.
Yes.
You must.
I don't think he's AWOL because they presented a contract. He's evaluating his options clearly because he hasn't gotten back to them. So we can't say he's AWOL.
But courtesy is like, yo, guys, like, give me some time. Not just Well, it's their word against his.
Yeah,
Because
also-
he hasn't come out and said anything.
Yeah, no, look. And also, I mean, what are the contents of the contract? Because Chiefs is very like good at like cutting salaries when players are like on their letter, like, okay,
How do you know this?
my man, it's out there.
Where?
My man. Hey, ask he will tell you. So we don't know. I don't think he's happy with the contract, in my view. That's why he went mum, because he's not even returning, he's blue ticking them.
But does it not set a bad precedent, though? I mean, if I'm the next club,
As a
I'm like,
player?
oh,
But we don't know who he's talking to already.
As a player. No, I think
His agents are talking to everyone.
Yeah.
already, surely.
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, look, I mean, for them to put out a statement, I don't know if they're negotiating directly to the player or his agent, because it looks like they're negotiating with the player to say that they've presented a contract and he hasn't responded. So,
But the last years comes from the player, not the agent.
yeah, no, what I'm saying is, what is the agent saying? Where is the player? Is he looking at the contract? Is he evaluating his options?
He doesn't know.
Maybe he's waiting for something.
But ideally, like in if we look at the league in its entirety, where do you slot him in? Well, like which team does he just walk right straight into? Except for Royal AM and hope he gets paid.
Well, can they even sign him? Let's start
Oh,
there.
snap. They can't sign players because they're under a ban. But they're appealing, which is useless. But yeah.
Yeah, look, it's difficult, eh?
Okay, let's go team by team. Supersport United?
Nah, man.
He's a free agent. Gavin loves them free.
Nah, I don't know. I just think like Kevin has got this team like figured out how he wants him to play, you know.
'Cause you've got Bradley
did
there,
he
right?
really fire when Kevin was at Chiefs? Did he really fire? Is he gonna fire because it's a different team now?
Did anyone?
Probably. Oh, yeah. Also, that's also true. Did anyone?
Yes,
Didn't
they
have a
did.
chance
No, come on, guys. Give Kevin Hunt his flowers. He did well at Chiefs. He was just not given enough time.
Yeah. But
He went to the semi-finals of CAF Champions League. Well, subsequently they went to the final, which was his work. We can put it.
But modern football, I think we said the last time, does not allow you time. So
depends on the club. Chelsea, Kaiser Chiefs, you don't have time.
fair.
Solskjaer stayed a good 2.5.
Yeah. And he stayed long with performing poorly.
Fair point. I mean, Arteta was also given some
But
time.
I mean, Chelsea is the kings of this. Carlo Ancelotti getting fired after the FA Cup final, after finishing second in the league and finishing the FA Cup final second. And he's like, bye. Thank you, bye.
Yeah. So, modern football, here and there, does not give you time.
To answer your question,
The Kama question.
he must go where others are. He must go to Botswana. Botswana is like the Saudi of South Africa, African football.
Do they pay? Because I see there's a lot of guys who are going to Botswana from South Africa. Those the heyday guys. Rachel is there.
Township Rollers and Squama is there.
Roy Mahamota is there.
Yeah.
Who's this other one?
Mahmoud-
Sifiso Mieni was there.
The Mahamud's story is very funny. Apparently, he went there for an exhibition match and
And they signed him.
they ended up getting signed.
What's the story there? Who's investing in this?
Yeah, actually.
Look, I don't know, hey, but Township Rollers, I think they are quite big in Botswana, you know. So, and look, I mean, Botswana.
Well, you know, if you are big in a country as big as Pretoria, yeah.
Hey, man,
I'm not saying Botswana is small.
they've got a strong currency, chief.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I know, of course. But like, then that means the league is poorly marketed then.
Do they have load shedding in Botswana?
They had it like recently.
Don't they get their power from us?
Yeah.
No, they had their fair share.
Okay.
They just don't have snow though.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because can he do it on a snowy night in Joburg? That's the thing. If you can, don't claim to be the best player if you can't do it in a snowy night in Joburg.
in Orlando Stadium. Yeah.
But
On a
speaking
Wednesday
of
night.
which, actually, we say that. And obviously the saying in England is that can Messi do it on a rainy night in Stoke?
Yeah.
Which he probably wouldn't have been able to because it's tough. But what's tougher, a rainy night in Stoke in the UK, or we saw it with the players complaining in the World Cup in 2010 here, Joburg or Pretoria, high altitude, bitter, cold, dry, they struggled. It's not an easy place to play in winter.
Especially for those Europeans.
So
Very difficult.
the interesting question with that is, and I know we diverse and we never said we're going to speak about this, but it's okay. But it just sparked the question. Do you think that coastal teams tend to struggle
Coming up for games. I'd imagine so.
I think inland teams struggle more in the coastal.
But, I mean, every Olympics, the long-distance runners are from Kenya. They train at high altitudes, everything. It's always better if you're used to the high altitude, then it's easy for you normally when you go down to the coastal cities.
But if you look at how your Chiefs, like your Pirates, especially Orlando Pirates struggle a lot, especially in Cape Town. When I can take it back
that
when
place is cold.
I can take it back when we used to play against Santos when they're still in the league. It was very difficult to get results there, the wind and all of that, So I think generally, in terms of football, I think inland teams struggle down in the coast.
But you were saying, Marco, sorry?
I can say that I would struggle to do this podcast if we did one in Cape Town. Because the night before we recorded, we'd be partying in Cape Town. Cape Town's a fun place, man. Maybe that's why they struggle. They go partying.
That's another
Marco,
aspect.
are you coming back next week? Hey, I'm not trusting you. Eh?
I'll be here.
Okay.
It's not make sure. But I generally think it's a give or take whether a lot of teams struggle when they go to what do you call this place? Herigwala to play Maritzburg. That I will give. But it's probably because of the conditions of the pitch. Chiefs.
But it's also a hostile stadium.
Yeah, it's smaller than this room.
Wow.
I'm kidding. But it's a very compact stadium. Would you also then say there's a reason why Sean Bartlett uttered the words that he's glad that he doesn't have to travel to Venda anymore?
Yeah, look, I think it was childish of him to say that. Honestly speaking, you can't say that. You're gonna make people upset. I mean, what are you saying? Those people also travel to the other side.
No, granted, but then it breaks the question on the question of altitude. That a team from Cape Town seems to struggle when they are the northern part of this country.
Yeah, it could be.
Well,
but like I said,
I'm sure
also the other
factors.
guys on the other side, they struggle going down. So it's fair. You get a home fixture and an away fixture. The playing field is level. So for him to say that, I think that was a little bit.
Yeah, football's not boxing.
Yeah.
You see it heavy with boxing. I remember, was it Lennox Lewis who lost at Carnival City? And he complained about the altitude. That's where he lost his fight, was Carnival City, and complained about the altitude. And boxing is a very fitness-driven sport. Whereas even though football is fitness-driven and your ability to, your respiratory system makes up a part of it. But there's so many other factors. Like if Sundowns, for example, keep the ball from you, you're going to struggle because they can keep the ball, because they got possession for however much percentage of the game. And you're running around. Versus another team, even if they're here in Joburg or whatever, and you're traveling up here, but you keep the ball and they're just going to sit, then you don't have to run as much. So there's different factors in football that perhaps means a lot more.
So in CAF competitions, right?
Yeah.
Then why don't we use altitude to our advantage with a lot of teams, especially the North African teams? Sundowns tried 1 or 2 times when they demolished
So
Al-Ahly.
Chiefs must take their games to Tando Stadium.
No, Polokwane. It's almost close.
But they do take their games sometimes.
The CAF games they play generally at FNB.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, well, they're being nice to their visitors.
We mustn't be nice to, because some of the other teams on the continent are not nice to us. We can't sleep.
That's
they make
true.
noise. They are hostile, and we are here.
So where we're giving them a hotel and we're playing Orlando Stadium. Games Orlando Stadium.
No, we take them to Peter Mokaba in Polokwane. I mean, that's what we need to do. But currently, they either play at Loftus or Orlando.
And they stay at the Hilton.
Or they stay at the Hilton. They get like a VIP protection, what. Taking
Nice
them to the
bus.
stadium.
No,
nice
we're good.
bus.
We're good peeps here in this country, man. We really are good peeps.
But we win those games anyways. When we go there, we struggle.
That's the thing. But okay,
They must be nicer to us. We mustn't be nastier to them.
Yeah. Football does not have to be
CAF must-
that
must-
way. You know what I mean?
CAF must
It's
punish.
not okay for them to do what they do to us, but does not mean we have to do the same.
If there's fireworks outside of your hotel, they must punish.
Exactly.
They must
FIFA
punish
has
the
to come to
teams.
play, yeah.
fair. And those...
And the lasers,
yes.
punishment. Fireworks in the stadium, punishment, fines, penalties.
And they're going to come here and they say, no vuvuzela. Hey, they're going to have problems.
Yeah, you see, we're starting...
You see now.
But vuvuzela versus fireworks and lasers, it's not dangerous, it's loud.
Well,
No, it's
your
making me
decibels,
lose
you know.
Decibels, I'm losing concentration.
But like, are you going to tell people with the marching band?
Because they tried. I mean, I think there's few, like, sorry, I'm digressing, but we're still talking about vuvuzelas anyway. There were few, like, people that came down for the World Cup, like, especially from England, that went back with vuvuzelas and they tried to to blow them there. And they were like, not yet.
Yeah, I remember they were bent around.
They
A lot
were
of
bent.
sporting codes. Wimbledon
Yeah.
was like, yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
No, if we blow the thing, we're gonna kick you out. So agreement. Kev needs to do something about the level of hostility. Football must just be football.
Football must just be
Equal living,
football, yeah.
Equal playing fields, right?
Yeah. And Sean Butler should not complain about going to Venda, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Super Sub does not like the idea of, I didn't even have a name for it, the league. It's the DSTV Premiership.
MLS Light.
regional league.
Let's be serious here, man. What is that?
I'm just saying, it was just an idea that came to mind.
The South African Regional Conference League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Conference League.
Yes.
So conference inland and conference coastal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if there's any teams that we missed from inland or coastal that you want to suggest, you can let us know. I mean, Amatax, there could be people who want Amatax in there. You never know.
Yeah, but remember, it's going to be teams that are in the DSTV Premiership.
No. It's a whole lot of...
There's a whole lot of teams. Remember,
Okay.
there's like now what? 32 teams. Let's start there. There are like 32 teams.
Yes.
Combined.
Yes.
What if most of the best teams are in one division or the other? So now you're relegating people who were finishing above people who were coastal in the DSTV Premiership.
It works
And now
when you
you're
don't get
telling
it.
them go down.
It works when you don't get relegated in MLS, man. Not yet.
Yeah.
Imagine playing in a league where you don't get relegated. Jeez, man.
Hey, man, it's their system and it works.
No, but like what I say, you go kick the ball, like you go to training, like, nah, we're working hard. For what?
For a cup and the money at the end of the season.
Ah, man, MLS
Hey,
was...
I drove to Cape Town. It's far. It's too far.
You see?
We will fly, man. Economy, like Orlando Pirates.
30 people.
Hey.
Safa is a big plane.
No. It's not about the size of the plane. It's about the size of the chunk of money that's gonna get out of the bank account for those 30 people to go and come back.
If you're flying economy, we should be all right.
Let us know, ballers. in the
Yeah, ballers,
comments.
let us know. Also, ONSIDE FPL, we are gonna start the league. We'll give you the code. We'll put it as soon as it's available. Because I was checking it out earlier today.
Yeah.
And it's not available as yet. And with good reason, because
There's still a lot of transfers.
there's still a lot of transfers that need to happen. We don't know whether Harry is staying or going. David De Gea looks like he's going. What's going on there?
Looks like
Well,
Onana
that
is
is
coming.
Onana will happen this week for more money than I thought was available, because it looks like they've already made the offer of 55 million for Onana, who I think, if you look at the goalkeepers available, who's a better signing in the goalkeeper position than Onana? Maybe Diogo Costa at Porto.
Yeah.
Good player. When you look at the sort of money, surely he could come for the same money. He's less experienced though. It seems like Man United want someone experienced now, and then they'll buy for the future as well, because there's a Japanese
Yes,
goalkeeper,
the Japanese goalkeeper,
that they're looking at as well, who shows a lot of potential. So Jan Oblak, for example, I think
I was actually going to mention him, yeah.
great player. You'll probably get him for around the same money, but he's 30. For a goalkeeper, 30 is not that old. I agree.
Provided he's
But-
playing frequently where he is.
Yes, which he is every game.
So
Great goalkeeper. He's perhaps a better, but Onana's 27.
Yeah.
So he looks like he'll be a good goalkeeper signing. And I think earlier on in the window, we were looking at Man United and thinking, oh, you're going to be lucky to get top 4 the way things are going, especially with the rumors of the small transfer budget, most of which was used up on Mason Mount. Are they looking at saying, okay, Onana is going to come in and we expect to sell players and get money back? I mean, is Fred going to go to Saudi League for 40 million, 50 million? Then we got budget. What's going to happen?
Marco is very interested in Fred, not this Marco Silva.
Oh, yes, in Fulham.
Yeah, in Fulham, yeah.
Oh, they seem to be, because they just extended Willian's contract.
Yes, they managed to get that right.
Talking about goalkeepers, I saw Karius is at Newcastle now.
Yes, Carriers, yes. The Mr. Blunder.
Liverpool.
Yes. Yes.
I've always wanted to ask you guys this because I think we haven't touched on it, if I may.
Touch.
What do you guys think about the 2025 Club World Cup?
The 32-team model.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think there's too many games in football already.
Yeah.
Stop making more games. International level, they do it all the time. Okay, do we need more club games? If you're a Premier League side,
Yeah.
if you're a Premier League side, you're playing Champions League, you're playing FA Cup, you're playing League Cup, you're playing Premier League. It comes to December time, which is mostly when the Club World Cup happens.
Yes.
Right around December into January.
December into January.
Is Club World Cup time. Man, you're already playing so many games. Now you're adding more games for teams.
But I like it because
It's inclusive.
Sorry?
You like it because it's inclusive.
It's inclusive once.
It's adding more opportunity.
And also the format, of it, and also playing during the June period. I think that's how it's gonna work.
But then you
What
can't
about-
play in the June period because they give that to international football, and now they're playing for what was a European after a long season. They did European qualifiers for what, and then there's a new European league next
Nations
season.
League or something.
Then they're going to make a new European league again in international football. So I don't know. It's a lot.
Because I was going to say, with regards to that, I like the concept as well, right?
I like the concept, I
But
think.
it's, where do you fit it? Because in that June space,
Yeah.
jiggy, there's going to be Euros.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
I don't know.
They have
Like
to
I
do
just
it
like
over the
I just
December,
like the
January.
idea of a group, Madrid, Simba, Wydad, and another team from South America in a group stages. You know what I'm saying? I like that idea.
Boca Junior.
I like you know why I like it?
I think it's gonna. Sorry.
I think the one thing is you'll probably see Sundowns in there.
Yeah.
Of course.
So you're giving more opportunities for maybe even imagine two South African teams do well
Yeah.
in CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to see two South African sides like maybe Pirates and Sundowns, the way they're playing currently. Maybe those are the two you see doing well in a CAF. Playing against Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, or Manchester City, or whoever in.
I think it would be dope, guys.
It would be
Think
cool.
about it.
But if I'm a club manager today and I'm looking at my fixture schedule and they're saying to me, I don't want to go. I don't even want to go.
Are we turning footballers, or are footballers being turned into robots now?
Yes.
Look,
Essentially, because if you look at it, where's Onana from?
Inter. Oh, what country?
Yes.
Senegal.
Okay. What's happening in January?
I don't know what's happening.
AFCON.
Africa Cup of Nations.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be like a good 2.5, a month and a half.
No, it's 3 weeks, man.
2 weeks,
3 weeks.
3 weeks, maybe a month, where Onana's not going to be
A
available. for
month, a
United.
full month, it's a World Cup.
Hey, that's-
AFCON is 3 weeks.
And remember how it hurt in Liverpool when Mane was there?
Yes.
When he used to disappear. Him and Salah,
Salah,
used to
yes.
disappear.
Is it in
for-
January again? Why did
in
they
Jan.
move it back?
There was a reason. I think Ivory Coast were not ready as yet.
It's okay. Unana's going to have a little injury, like his thigh is going to...
Yeah, they also pay them off to say like, oh, I'm retiring from international football.
Yeah.
Yes, 5 million.
Exactly. And then you are set, please come play for United.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing I was actually going to ask you with regards to Onana, in that there's the AFCON break that's coming. But United doesn't have that many African players, right?
Not many.
Yeah.
It's only that one. Who's going to be the biggest sufferer?
They've also got the one who's coming back from loan from Sunderland now.
Crystal Palace.
We had a great season on loan with Sunderland.
Oh, yes, I know. Yes, what's his name? I know who you're talking about. Yes. The name is escaping me now. Is he not the one? Didn't he score a wonder free kick?
Wonder free kick last game of the season
Yes.
for Sunderland in the playoffs
Yes.
for promotion.
I just forgot his name. So, okay, cool. United, not many. Arsenal, not many anymore.
Party.
They left with Wenger. Partey is probably not going to be a starter.
Yeah. Saka
Even
plays for
City
England.
don't have
City
that
don't have-
many.
Imagine if Saka played for Nigeria.
Mahrez,
So Liverpool still to suffer the most with Salah.
yeah.
Mahrez is not even... I think Mahrez is going to be in Saudi League.
You reckon?
I don't think he's
Hey,
going to...
follow the money, man. Follow the money. Follow the money.
I think Bernardo Silva got
Yeah, I
offered
think
big
lot of-
money, but he's not going to go.
And I think Mahrez, is probably Muslim, eh?
Yes.
'Cause I think a lot of,
'cause
like-
he comes from Algeria.
Yeah,
right? So
because
he's
a lot of
probably-
people are moving that side for that reason as well. Like I saw Koulibaly mention that he wants to raise his family
in a Muslim country.
in a Muslim country. Yeah.
You know who else I saw making the rounds on social media also in Saudi Arabia?
Oh,
Paul Pogba.
He must go.
yeah, no, it's okay.
Why is he even anywhere else?
And he's Muslim, is he not?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
So perfect match. He's
Perfect match.
He's
He can go dance there for money gladly.
dance on the ball for money.
Dance.
Okay. But is he a talent gone to waste?
He has won the World Cup. You can't
Or
say
was
that.
it going back to United that literally messed him up?
Injuries
Talent
as
gone
well.
to worst. Injuries.
He had a lot of injuries. Because he's a quality player.
He's not
Bad.
gone to worst.
But bad attitude. It's not Man United making a mistake for signing him or him going back there and Man United doing him bad or whatever. He could have made it work. You can see it. I think anyone can see it. There's certain players in world football where if you tried harder and you applied yourself better and you did things right, you would have been a success at this club. Your failures are down to you. And I think Paul Pogba is a prime example of that. You can see it. His failures were down to him. I feel sorry for him with the injuries. You can't get past that. I feel sorry for him. But the times where he was fit, the application, you can see wasn't there. And he could have been a bigger success at Man United. And they really would have relied on him because there was a severe lack of quality in that team. And he was the only one with quality that could have carried that United side at that stage.
So we can safely say he played his best football at Juventus.
Of course.
Just before the United. And then how many kicks of a ball did he have last season? Again, the injuries.
So the first stint at United after it's Alex who got rid of him, right?
Yeah, it was
Well,
Alex when he was at United.
Yeah, he went for free when his contract. So Alex didn't get rid of him. He just said to him,
He didn't make first team, did he?
he did. He played
like a couple of
a
games.
couple FA Cup games and things like that.
Yeah.
And then so Alex said to him, he says, I'm not going to sign a new contract unless you promise me I'm going to be a first team starter. And he said to him, you're not ready. So he signed for Juve.
And did he flourish at Juve because he was playing around Andrea Pirlo? Or
Allowed him to be more of a flair player while the others...
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying?
Also, attitude. He was relaxed, confident. The team worked. He was succeeding.
He was too sure of himself, yeah.
There wasn't as much pressure at Juve to succeed.
Because they were already winning the league and all of that.
Dominant.
They were dominating.
Dominant. Man United went through a dip. When he
he had
came
to
back
carry
to
a
Man
team.
United, he had to try carry a team. A lot of pressure, big money signing.
Playing with people that were not assisting. But I think the other thing that he actually had, which guided the attitude more than anything, was he knew that his manager had his back. Because if you look at the guys that Mino Raiola managed, like the Zlatans, the Paul Pogbas, the Mario Balotellis, do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going? Attitude players. It's just that Zlatan could speak a big game and he could play a big game.
Yeah. Mario is the one that you can say it's a talent gone to waste.
Balotelli.
Yeah.
That man loved his parties and ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Paul Pogba, I think he was just unlucky.
Yeah, I suppose it's injuries, man. But yeah, transfers, it's very quiet. But we shall see on the next episode of ONSIDE if anything happens. Yeah.
I didn't speak about Mason Mount. I wasn't here.
Yes.
Nothing much to speak about. Mason Mount, we'll see. Could be a good player. Could be a flop signing. We'll see. But that's a heavy number to wear.
Yeah.
Man United number 7. Who's the last successful Man United number 7?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
The first time.
Oh, Beckham was 7 as well.
Yeah. Before, so it's Beckham, George Best, Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo. These are the players who wore 7 shirt for Manchester.
Hey, Valencia was
And then you give it to
successful.
Valencia.
Valencia changed his number back the following season because he said the 7 was a
Because he
bad
went back,
omen.
he became a
Because he played
fullback.
badly.
Yeah.
He played badly. He was 23 or something. Then he went to 7, had a bad season, went back to 23.
But was he not a fullback at the time?
I think that he went from fullback, he moved up to right wing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Edinson Cavani.
Oh, he tried.
He tried. but
He wasn't actually a bad number 7, but he came into a failing side. Nothing could happen.
Memphis Depay.
Yeah, Memphis Depay. But everyone, Alexis Sanchez,
Di Maria.
everyone has failed in that number 7 shirt. Di Maria came into that. He looked like he was too good for the Premier League for a few games. They broke into his house. Then he was like, I'm not playing anymore.
I'm not for this.
I don't like England.
So, Marco,
I'm going back.
Are you saying number 7 is cursed?
I'm saying that it takes a big player, a big personality to wear that number 7 shirt. Mason Mount doesn't feel like the personality to wear the 7 shirt. I think it might have been part of the convincing to get him there. Is like, we'll show you how important you are to us. Ten Hag clearly thinks he's the most important player, was very important to him. So he gave him that shirt. But I think Man United fans are upset. And Alejandro Garnacho, I think he's upset because I think he had his eye on that 7. And I think he has the personality and the attitude for the shirt.
Or Anthony.
Yeah, they should have given it to Anthony.
I just had to take it there. But anyway, ballers, actually tell us, does Mason Mount deserve the number 7 jersey? Or will he do it justice? Not deserve. Will he do it justice? And yeah, we'll see as the season goes. Transfers, like I said, not much to speak about because it's a little quiet now. But hopefully as the days and weeks go, we will have a lot more to talk about with regards to movements from Chelsea to wherever, because Chelsea can't seem to sign anybody, but they've got a very nice shirt. Anyway, gentlemen, it's been a good one. Super sub,
Danko.
Always. I'm going to send you to the coastal teams to be the spokesperson there. I'll remain inland. Marco, it's been real. Thank you very much. Welcome back. We'll try and make sure that you don't go to Cape Town because,
Yeah, maybe I need to go to Cape Town as well.
See, coastal, there we go. You see, I've got 2 guys there. Sorted. See, my plan is coming together. But anyway, ballers, it's been real. This has been another episode of ONSIDE. And yeah, man, if you have not subscribed, make sure you do. And we'll see you on the flip side. And make sure you don't get yourself offside, but you are caught onside.
Danko.
Make some noise right now! Enter! Podcast and Chill Network in association with Grandeur presents the Road to 1 Million Subscribers event on the 30th of July 2023 at SUNBET AREANA in Pretoria. Lineup includes Kaiser Chiefs, MacG, Musa Keys, Pops, Celeste Nduli, Eugene Koza, and Robert Boy. This fun-filled event will include comedy, music performances, as well as a live audience conversation with MacG, Sol Penduka, and the Ghost Lady. Tickets are now available on Cricket from 295 rands. Doors open at 6 p.m. Food and drinks sold at the venue. Come and join a milestone celebration of Black excellence with Podcast and Chill Network.